important factors. Now comes the temporomandibular joint. This movable bilateral joint of the skull has movable fiber articular disc which separates the joint cavity. We will be discussing about the temporomandibular joint in more detail in further videos because it is a really vast topic, and for introduction you just can know that it is a bilateral joint. It is an only movable joint of the skull, and also it consists of an articular disc which helps in padding of the joint so that it will not be causing any kind of disruption in the bone. Now comes the maxillary sinus. The posterior teeth of arch are related to the maxillary sinus. Maxillary sinus are basically the cavity on the face. This cavity is present below the orbit area, and you can say above the posterior teeth. The posterior teeth of the maxillary arch are actually in relation with the maxillary sinus. They have a common nerve supply, and their roots are often separated by the plate like structure, which could be of bone, and this plate is really thin, and sometimes the root of the sometimes due to any kind of pathology, the root of the posterior teeth could supply or could transfer the infection into the maxillary sinus as well, and during that pathology the treatment becomes a little bit complex, and a careful observation of the maxillary sinus as well as the tooth structure is really important during dealing of the any kind of pus formation which happens in the posterior teeth of the maxillary arch. Now comes the pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. This is the epithelium which is lining the maxillary sinus. This helps to provide all the mucus content and line the cavity of the maxillary sinus. Now, eruption and shedding of the teeth. Just before the tooth makes its appearance in the oral cavity, the epithelium covering it fuses with the oral epithelium. Okay, then the tooth then cuts through this degenerated fused epithelium so that the eruption can be easily initiated and it will be bloodless. But during the eruption of the tooth, there is a lot of changes which are going into the child's body, and it provides them a little bit of irritation problem and mostly pain, and this has to be considered and dealt in a really sensitive way and must be understood better, and that is why a pediatric uh, consultancy is really important during the initial phase of the tooth eruption so that the parents of the child could better know and avoid any kind of irritation or any kind of problems to their child, as it is really a continuous event and is quite painful for a child. Now comes the successor and predecessors. These are the two terms which you might be hearing throughout your study time, because successors are the teeth which are known as permanent teeth. We will be using the word permanent teeth in the most of the time, but sometimes these are indicated into the form of successor. Successor is the tooth which are coming after the falling out of the previous tooth, so it is known as successors. The predecessors are the previous tooth which we indicate as the deciduous tooth. Now comes the oral mucosa. The mucosa lining the mouth is continuous anteriorly with the skin of the lip at vermilion zone and with pharyngeal mucosa posteriorly. Thus, the oral cavity or the oral mucosa and the GIT mucosa are continuous. Okay, now comes the oral mucosa is attached to the underlying bone by a loose connective tissue known as the submucosa. Apart from the tongue, the mucosa at all of the other places of the mouth is known as the lining mucosa. This is the mucosa which lines up the mouth. Other than tongue, because the tongue consists of a specialized mucosa which we will discuss later, but other than this tongue, all of the mucosa is known as lining mucosa, because if we see logically, it is lining the oral cavity, so this mucosa is known as the lining mucosa. Now mucosa which is lining the tooth is adapted according to its position. So whether it is on the hard palate, whether it is around the tooth structure, whether it is at the inner part of the cheeks, so all these places are different and the masticatory forces on all of these places are different, so they are adapted according to their places. Now comes the mucosa which is attached to the tooth. The mucosa which is attached to the tooth is very thin and permeable. The fluid which oozes out of this mucosa fills up the crevices. Crevices means the little bit of spaces between the gingiva or the mucosa surrounding the tooth and the tooth. So these pockets which we will be discussing in the periodontal, it is a periodontal study term, pocket formation or periodontal pocket formation. So normal periodontal sulcus actually is consisting of the sulcus fluid or the gingival fluid. This gingival fluid is really important because it provides the defensive mechanism against the entry of any kind of bacteria. So it is a healthy fluid and is helpful to avoid any kind of microbiological entry. So bacteria are avoided by this fluid to a certain extent, not all of the bacteria, because heavy flow of the bacteria will not be cancelled out by this fluid, but in a healthy state it can cancel out a lot of bacteria with the help of or with the uh, companionship of proper brushing, oral hygiene, and all the care which could be taken. Now, the mucosa of the dorsum of the tongue, which we have discussed earlier, this is a different kind of mucosa. This is known as specialized mucosa. The main reason for it being specialized is it consists of taste buds. So, taste buds have their own capacity to do a certain job. They are actually taking up the taste sensations and providing the signals to the brain. So this mucosa is doing something more than just lining up the surface. So that is why this special, because of this additional function or this special function, this mucosa which lines up the dorsum of the tongue is known as specialized mucosa. So that was all about the basic of the structures in the oral cavity. Now later on, as we move further in the dental histology book, we will be learning each and every aspect differently, and each and every aspect which will be discussed in more depth. But before that, we must be knowing what we are going to tackle. So that is why we have made this introductory video, so that you will be knowing what you will going to study later on in your book. So this was all about the introduction about the stomodium or oral cavity, and we will be discussing more topics later on. And if you are having any kind of doubts, you can ask in the comment section and tell us about all the topics you want to know more. Thank you so much.